Hey, what's going on, guys? Back again with a brand new video. Before we get into today's topic, just wanted to say that my Act Blue link is in the description below. If you're interested and wondering what this Secure the Yang challenge is about, I've got another video explaining that on my channel. Go ahead and check that out. So today's video is it's just part one of a series of videos where we're going to talk about why Donald Trump is our president. What is his appeal? And so one of the videos I recently watched was it was a live streaming video. It happened about a couple weeks ago, where Donald Trump declared that al-Baghdadi was killed. So a known terrorist, and he was killed. They did an operation, took him out, and technically he ended up taking himself out, but basically he had a big conference, and in that conference he really exposed so much. He really just said, he blew the lid off of just American foreign policy as a whole. He literally said, not even kidding you, he literally said that we're going to secure the oil. Like, literally. He said that, well, we're over there, so we're going to secure the oil and spread the wealth. And then on top of that, right, he actually says that he's going to appoint one of our oil companies here in the States to really take charge of the oil that they've seized since they were over there. And they're just going to capture that and go on their way. And the amazing thing about this was normal. Everyone acted like that was normal behavior, that sounded just fine. Like, can you imagine if this were any other place? Can you imagine if we had a known terrorist in the UK, right? Or Russia, and the United States decided, hey, we don't really like that guy, so what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of that person. So maybe you try to get your approvals from the local government. Maybe they don't have the resources to take care of the job. So you decide to take it upon yourself to go and take that guy out. You take him out, and then you realize, well, since I'm over there, well, there's some oil. It's helping some other people, some allies, whatever. I think it's best that we have it. So I'm just going to take that while I'm over there, and it'll be okay. Like, this is absolute insanity. But what the crazy part of it is that what he's doing is he's being incredibly transparent. And he's being so incredibly transparent that no news outlet will report what he just said. And the news outlets have every reason to criticize Donald Trump. That's what gets the views. That's what gets the clicks. That's what gets the comments. And that's what's on the news cycle 24/7, is every single thing that he does. If he does something wrong or if he does it right, they're talking about him nonstop. If he puts out a tweet, they're going to talk about that. So in that respect, he's definitely playing the media left and right. They have no idea how to handle him. They don't know how to respond to him. The only thing that they can think of is really just cover everything that he does. And well, he's winning. As you can see, not only did he win the election because they didn't know how to handle him, but now that he is in the office, they have no idea how to handle that either. And so they're working toward his reelection by continuing to talk about him nonstop, which is why Andrew Yang has said anytime that we're talking about Donald Trump, we're losing. And that's absolutely true. But what's very curious about this is in his moment of transparency, they would never, ever publicize that. You will never, ever, ever in the history of the United States see on ABC, Fox News, NBC, CBS, or any other news outlet that Donald Trump just said that we are going to seize the oil of another country. We're going to seize the natural resources of another country and just take it and spread the wealth around and then appoint someone who's the head of a United States oil company to take care of that situation in a foreign land, right? This is not normal behavior, but he presents it like it's just a regular, normal thing to do. And so what the American people have essentially requested by voting Donald Trump, to be the president of the United States, is it's that old saying. It's like, which is better, a beautiful lie or an ugly truth? And I think in this case, the American people chose an ugly truth, and that is precisely why he can be so transparent about so many different things. He even says in that same press conference, he says that during the Iraq war, that he was never for it. He said that he never felt that there were weapons of mass destruction, and later that was found to be true. And then he said, well, if we're going to be over there, well, might as well come back with some oil. That should be our compensation. So when he speaks like this, he's really blowing the lid off of the way that he thinks, and much the way that the United States as a whole thinks. He's exposing it and himself as essentially running the country like a mafia. So like, you just go into a foreign land, kill whoever you want, and since you're over there, take all the riches and move on. This is literally, no exaggeration, what is taking place. It's absolutely incredible. Check out the clips.
Give you any pause about your decision to withdraw?
No, I think it's great. Look, we don't want to keep soldiers between Syria and Turkey for the next 200 years. They've been fighting for hundreds of years. We're out. But we are leaving soldiers to secure the oil. Now, we may have to fight for the oil. That's okay. Maybe somebody else wants the oil, in which case they have a hell of a fight. But there's massive amounts of oil, and we're securing it for a couple of reasons. Number one, it stops ISIS, because ISIS got tremendous wealth from that oil. We have taken it. It's secured. Number two, and again, somebody else may claim it, but either we'll negotiate a deal with whoever's claiming it if we think it's fair, or we will militarily stop them very quickly. We have tremendous power in that part of the world. We have, the airport is right nearby. A very big, very monstrous, very powerful airport, and very expensive airport that was built years ago. I spoke with Lindsey Graham just a little while ago. In fact, Lindsey Graham is right over here, and he's been very much involved in this subject, and he's a very strong hawk, but I think Lindsey agrees with what we're doing now. And again, there are plenty of other countries that can help them patrol. I don't want to leave 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 soldiers on the border. But where Lindsey and I totally agree is the oil. The oil is, so valuable for many reasons. It fueled ISIS, number one. Number two, it helps the Kurds, because it's basically been taken away from the Kurds. They were able to live with that oil. And number three, it can help us, because we should be able to take some also. And what I intend to do, perhaps, is make a deal with an ExxonMobil or one of our great companies to go in there and do it properly. Right now, it's not big. It's big oil underground, but it's not big oil up top. Much of the machinery has been shot and dead. It's been through wars, but and spread out the wealth. But no, we're protecting the oil. We're securing the oil. Now, that doesn't mean we don't make a deal at some point. I want to bring our soldiers back home. But I do want to secure the oil. If you read about the history of Donald Trump, I was a civilian. I had absolutely nothing to do with going into Iraq, and I was totally against it. But I always used to say, if they're going to go in, nobody cared that much, but it got written about. If they're going to go in, I'm sure you've heard the statement, because I made it more than any human being alive. If they're going into Iraq, keep the oil. They never did. They never did. I know Lindsey Graham had a bill where basically we would have been paid back for all of the billions of dollars that we've spent, many, many billions of dollars. I mean, I hate to say it, it's actually trillions of dollars, but many, many billions of dollars. And by one vote, they were unable to get that approved in the Senate. They had some pretty big opposition from people that shouldn't have opposed, like a president, and they weren't able. If you did that, Iraq would be a much different story today, because they would be owing us a lot of money. They would be treating us much differently. But I will say Iraq was very good with respect to the raid list. Well, I don't have a Syria pull-out. I just don't want to guard Turkey and Syria for the rest of our lives. I mean, I don't want to do it. It's very expensive. It's very dangerous. They've been fighting for centuries. I don't want to have my people, 2,000 men and women, or 1,000, or 28. We had 28 guarding. I said, I don't want them there anyway. I don't want them. Now, I will secure the oil. That happens to be in a certain part. But that's tremendous money involved. I would love to, the oil in, I'll tell you a story in Iraq. So President Bush went in. I strongly disagreed with it, even though it wasn't my expertise at the time, but I have a very good instinct about things. They went in, and I said, that's a tremendous mistake. And there were no weapons of mass destruction. It turned out I was right. I was right for other reasons, but it turned out, on top of everything else, they had no weapons of mass destruction, because that would be a reason to go in, but they had none. But I heard recently that Iraq, over the last number of years, actually discriminates against America in oil leases. In other words, some oil companies from other countries, after all we've done, have an advantage in Iraq for the oil. I said, keep the oil. Give them what they need. Keep the oil. Why should we go in, we lose thousands of lives, spend trillions of dollars, and our companies don't even have an advantage in getting the oil leases. So I just tell you that story. That's what I heard.
So there you have it, folks. The evidence is certainly clear, and it's really, really telling. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me if you see this clarity in Andrew Yang and Donald Trump. There's a lot of similarity in terms of being very transparent. You can see that with Andrew Yang on the debate stage, also doing press. He's very transparent. And that transparency it resonates very well with the American people. And I think that is definitely in part why Donald Trump is the current president. Tell me what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, check out the Act Blue link, where all donations go directly to the Andrew Yang campaign. See you guys next time.